Pandemic swept into our lives, shaking us out of our comfort zones. Collectively, we grieved the world we once knew, questioning how this experience would shape our world to come. The social distance provided an opportunity to reflect and go within. With all the lessons learned and wisdom gained, we now have the opportunity to collectively participate in a grand rising. We have the freedom to shake off the years that have come before and to step into our greatness. The Centers for Spiritual Living can no longer be the world's best kept secret. It's time for us to emerge into the new world, driven by faith, leading with courage, and moving with action. It is time for our grand rising. Talk titles for January are It's a New Dawn. That will be done by Audrey today. It's a New Day will be the 14th, January 21st. Feeling Good, and January 28th, It's a New Life. So now please help me welcome Audrey, who's just back from a really big trip. So, a new dawn.
Thank you for reading the titles, Wes. It saves me from singing the Michael Bublé song. So, the sun has set on old ways of thinking. As we rise into the new year, we shake off the dust of yesteryear and emerge into a beautiful world that truly works for everybody. At the start of the new year, many of us like to set intentions for how we would like to shift or show up throughout the year. Now, how many of us have done, what are the boards called? Vision boards. The intention setting has value every day, not just the first day of the year. Instead of starting each day with good morning, what if we began with a grand rising? How would our day and the rest of our lives unfold? Simply by leaning into the beauty and grandeur of each new day. We are being invited to start each day with an intention to co-create a world that works for everybody, led by the divine. So this month, let's rise past the ways things have always been, beyond circumstances, and into a credible new year. As we strike off the ashes of the past and are rising this year like a phoenix. Okay, I feel like I need to explain the term grand rising because I had to look it up. So, grand rising is a phrase used by some people when they wake up or the first thing when they see somebody during the day. It is usually used instead of good morning. Grand rising means something a little different from simply saying good morning. The act of getting out and about is a great way to start your morning. Using the word grand indicates that something's bigger than just waking up happening. This could be anything from going on vacation all over again, being more productive at work rather than sleeping through meetings, or spending time journaling or exercising. So there's a spiritual angle for using the term grand rising. When we sleep, the conscious mind rests. However, it is believed that our subconscious and unconscious minds are in a state of travel to other realms. If you accept this as truth in understanding sleep, then saying grand rising is giving thanks for returning to your body after being away from it for a long journey. Some people say grand rising instead of good morning, and the reply can be grand rising or good morning. It is believed the word morning has a similar vibration to the word mourning, as in grief. And many people say grand rising when they want their days to start in an uplifting way. So here's a story that explains why CSL International picked a grand rising for this year's theme, coming out from the pandemic. So 3 black youth shared a room in a homeless shelter in Oklahoma City. The 3 of them immediately found friendship, community, and support. Wide-eyed and optimistic, and with their minds on understanding of God, the 3 of them navigated complicated social services systems to get their basic needs met. To manage these challenges, they leaned on their spiritual practice. They posted vision boards on their walls, sought spiritual wisdom through oracle cards, and used affirmations to keep spirits lifted. One of them discovered a greeting made popular among the TikTok Black community, Grand Rising. They explained to the shelter staff that they did not want to begin their day with good morning or morning. Every day they wanted to experience a grand rising. They created a large poster in their room greeting everybody with grand rising. Not long after, one youth was reunited with family, and the other 2 set off for an adventure to California. The last the shelter staff had heard from them, they are doing well. And the story of these young people inspired this year's annual theme. I was actually thinking as I read this, like, how often do we just say morning? That's kind of odd, right? Now you think.
I say morning all the time.
Yeah.
I don't say good morning anymore. Because my friend passed away. Like, I think, like, what's so good about today? You know, like, my friend passed away.
Okay. So here's a quote from the Science of Mind magazine, Science of Mind text. Thought should tend more and more towards the affirmative attitude of our mind that is positive, stable, and above all else towards a real unity with spirit that is already complete and perfect. So starting our day with positive intentions and an intentional connection with spirit allows us to bring this energy with us throughout our day. A daily habit of beginning with grand rising inspires us to live with these qualities at the center of our lives. Trained thought is more powerful than untrained thought. To truly apply the principles of Science of Mind in our lives, we must begin to be aware of this truth. Last year we practiced living out loud. This year we get to deepen our practice, amplifying the value of living a spiritual life to others. When we use the greeting Grand Rising every morning to remind ourselves and each other that we are rising together every day towards a real unity with spirit that is already complete and perfect. So let's take a minute and think about the power of intention. The concept of this New Year's resolution is morphing into an intention setting, as resolutions set at the beginning of the year are often forgotten. Actually, with the second Friday of the new year nicknamed Quitting Day, because apparently that's the day people quit their New Year's resolutions the most. And many of us like to create vision boards at the beginning of the year that serve as daily visual reminders of these intentions. We may use a journal or planner to set and track personal intentions. Regardless of our goals, when we incorporate or practice starting our day consciously, which increases our individual and collective grand rising, the power of intention creates a beautiful ripple of love across the planet. You know, I could use starting the day consciously instead of starting the day with YouTube, but that's just me. I have an addiction. There's an interesting quote from Pam Grout in her book called Thank and Grow Rich. When we don't stop to daily inventory all the gazillion things that are going right in our lives, The crazy voices in our heads try to make us their bitch. Do you want me to say it again? When we don't stop to daily inventory all the gazillion things going right in our lives, the crazy voices in our head try to make us their bitch.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So every time we wake up, we have a choice. We can look at the day ahead, feeling crushed by to-do list. And we do that. I don't know how many times the practitioners have treated for me to have a smaller to-do list. Or we can remember that our only responsibility is to express ourselves as the divine beings that we are. The world we live in is not designed to remind us of this. Thankfully, this is what the Centers for Spiritual Living here is about. Our classes, workshops, and events are designed to connect us with the truth of our being. So this year's theme, A Grand Rising, is one way that we encourage to find spiritual practices to incorporate into our lives and share with others. Beginning each day in a grand intention to consciously connect with Spirit allows us to bring that energy with us through our lives. So as we all know, the global pandemic has forever changed our way of life. Lots of people have ached for the day life would go back to normal, but we're experiencing a new normal and collectively healing from the shared traumas of this experience and redefining what normal means. Social structures of oppression are being challenged in new ways. Self-care, work balance, and mental health support services are becoming normalized. This shift is leading us closer to our shared goal of creating a world that works for everybody. Today, people are identifying as spiritual more than ever. Traditional religions are not being discarded. Instead, they are being incorporated into a new understanding of spirituality. People are waking up from the ideas of their personal relationship with Spirit is more powerful than blind acceptance of the wisdom of the ages. Now is the best time to step out of our comfort zones and become more visible with our community. To co-create a world that works for everybody, people in the community must be aware of our center. Now it's time to take the roof off of what we may think of as church and truly become spiritual leaders. I'm going to close with Ralph Waldo Emerson quote, "Nothing great was ever achieved without enthusiasm." And ending with an affirmation, you can choose to repeat after me if you want to. I start this day with a grand rising. Namaste.